Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. I just got back from seeing Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I gotta say, this is one of those rare occasions where the sequel, in my opinion, is better than the original. This sequel is beautiful. Okay, no more B puns. It was in this movie, and I had to throw one in there. Apologies. This movie was everything I wanted the first movie to be and more. I mean, I love video games, so the thought of a movie about a video game character going out of his comfort zone and exploring other video game worlds was really intriguing to me. And the first movie was good. It wasn't like a bad movie. It's just they spent a lot of time in Sugar Rush or whatever Penelope's world was called, and I don't know. It just felt like a Katy Perry music video, like the one she did with Snoop Dogg, or like the Candyland game. It was just very, very kiddie, very childish. Like don't drop buttons and candy. Like I don't know. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I would have liked to see him venture out and explore other game worlds, but I understand why they had to stay there. It was to develop Penelope's character. But this one really takes the whole concept and brings me everything I wanted. I mean, he gets to explore a lot. I mean, you're not really seeing a whole lot of video game worlds, but it's just really funny to see the nostalgia and like all the cameos of different things we experience while surfing the web on the internet, between the pop-ups and bidding on eBay and viral videos and viruses and just like all that stuff. It's really cool to see. It's kind of like Ready Player One in the sense of you getting all that, like those like little nostalgia things. So that was really cool to see, and I think that the overall message in this was just as strong, if not stronger, than the first one. To me, the overall message of the first one was kind of like, be true to yourself and love yourself for who you are. And this one was kind of like, you gotta learn to let things go sometimes, which I think is a very mature subject, and to incorporate that into a movie is really commendable, actually. The way this movie ends was very mature. I actually loved it a lot. A lot of Disney movies, they take very serious subjects like being enslaved or giving up things you love or losing your parents, and they throw you into this very serious matter in a very kid-friendly skin, but then it always wraps up like too good. Like obviously, like, you know, you bring kids to these movies, you want them to end on a really, really, really high good note, but it's kind of like when you see those people that are in relationships, or you hear those people talking about what they want in a relationship, and it's kind of like, you know, relationships aren't like how they are in the movies always. It's not like The Notebook. It's not like that. But that's how Disney movies like kind of make their movies. Like they always end in a way that people want things to end, and it's not in a way that's always realistic. And this had a very realistic approach to how they ended this movie. The way they wrap up Ralph and Penelope's friendship. It's a happy ending, but it's a very mature and realistic one as into what would happen in that situation, and I really, really dug that. The cameos from all the characters here were just flawless. There is a scene with the Disney princesses that you don't see in the trailer in the movie that was awesome. It was the highlight of the movie to me, honestly, and it was all of like 30 seconds. I love seeing all the other little cameos from the Stormtroopers to the Marvel characters, and there was one really funny part where it's like, you know, when you're on like Facebook and you're taking like this survey, like which Marvel character would be your soulmate or like something like that. Like they have that in there, and it's just the way they incorporate all of like the things that we do on the internet into like real life things in Wreck-It Ralph's world is really creative, and I commend them all for doing it that way. I love the little Google search bar guy, like the little librarian guy. He was really funny, and I loved every time he was on screen. Gal Gadot is making her cartoon debut in this movie, and she's good. I loved her as Wonder Woman, but I feel like she was never like a star. Like she was in the Fast and Furious movies, but she was always like not even a secondary character, like a tri-character, if that even exists. Like she didn't really have to carry a lot of emotions and weight on her shoulders, except for like the one that she died in. Spoiler alert if you've never seen a Fast and Furious movie. But you know, Wonder Woman, it's okay for her to not be the best of actors because that's the kind of character she's playing. She's coming to a new world where everything's new to her, and she's very pure and humble. And in this, she's okay, but like not amazing. Like you could tell, like the cartoon's doing a lot of like the work on the emotion aspect, but like the voice just doesn't sound all there. I don't know. There's a musical number in this movie involving her, and she just does not have that good of a singing voice. Now, I love her. Honestly, she brought Wonder Woman to the big screen for me, and I thought that movie was fantastic. But she should probably stay away from singing. However, that musical number from Vanellope was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was almost making fun of other Disney princesses and like how they all get their own like musical cue, and it was more humor in this music video than anything. But it also ends on a very serious note, and it was just really well written. And the whole relationship between Ralph and Vanellope is stronger than ever. It's evolved here, and it's just so pure and so good. And I mean, you could see from the trailer that really this movie is about Ralph's insecurities. And I think that that's an amazing thing to tackle because in this movie, as a viewer, you're watching the movie and it's like kind of hard to see how needy and clingy he is to Vanellope. And it's really just mirroring ourselves because we may not all be insecure when it comes to relationships, but there are people out there that probably got cheated on and now they're in a new relationship and they are insecure about it, and it's hard. And it doesn't have to be about relationships. You could be about a hobby. Maybe you play sports and you try your heart out to be the best, but the coach is just paying attention to somebody else and you're getting insecure about it. Or maybe it's at work. You know, you're trying your best there and you're there every day and you're early and someone else is getting the attention, and everyone is insecure about something. And this movie is kind of like making us take a step back and look at it like sometimes we just need to breathe and let things go. And if it's meant to be, it's going to come back. And that's a really strong message in my opinion. And again, it has like Fix-It Felix and a lot of the cast are back, but they're all kind of taking a back seat, and really the internet is the big star here, honestly. I really dug this movie. I'm going to give it a 9.5. This is everything I wanted the first one to be and more. I don't know really where it could go from here, but hopefully it makes a lot of money and we can get one final one to close out this trilogy because I think it's a franchise that absolutely deserves it. I'm just really curious to see where they would go, honestly. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you like this movie as much as the first one? Do you think that the first one is better than this one? What do you think of the overall message of these movies? Let's talk about it, and as always, I'll catch you next time.